Right now, Chris is tracking some Sunday showers on this Mother's Day, but the good news, a warm-up is on the way. How soon we can see near 80-degree temperatures. And the Bucks are bound for the semifinals, but who will they play? They and we will find out later today. Preview that just ahead.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
And a very good morning. It's 6:30 in the morning on a May 12th. A very happy Mother's Day. I'm Adam Duxter with meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, I gotta ask, will we be outside for brunch today?
I think some of you will. There's sunshine out there right now, and I think we'll see more sunshine before the clouds roll in this afternoon. Adam, I don't know if you had it this morning, but there are frost advisories for a lot of folks. That's from Madison and points towards the north and east. That's because the clearing skies actually allow temperatures to fall back into the 30s. And given that the growing season has started, yeah, that's something that we are going to have to look for. Now, that frost advisory should expire by the end of the show. In the meantime, here is the sunshine that is out there right now. Bask in it because changes are on the way. This is the Edgewater showing you more of that sunshine. Get this, we're only 2 degrees above freezing right now at 34. Light winds coming out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Other temperatures are mainly in the 30s. Fond du Lac down to 32. Wautoma at 30. Same for Camp Douglas. Janesville at 39, though. So as you get just south of that Madison area, that's where temperatures are warmer there, closer towards that 40-degree mark. Now let's look at Platteville right now. You have a different story there. There's more cloud cover starting to filter in. That's because there's a region of low pressure back to the west that will be approaching us, but it's going to pass to the south. High pressure to the north, Adam, should keep us dry as we go throughout Mother's Day. So your Mother's Day forecast will feature a lot of cloud cover and temperatures in the upper 50s, but I cannot rule out a slight chance of showers this afternoon.
And photos of Miss Reese there, right?
Yep, photos of all of the weather team's moms except for Gary. He didn't send in a picture. He thought we could show off our moms instead.
Well, we love our moms on this Mother's Day, and we're hoping it does stay dry and warm for them.
Yeah, keep your fingers crossed, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, we'll see you later in the show.
All right.
Thousands of students are waking up this morning with some extra letters attached to their names. More than 7,000 UW-Madison bachelor's, master's, and law students graduated this weekend at Camp Randall as more than 43,000 people cheered them on. One of the highlights of Saturday's ceremony was hearing former Wisconsin football star and current defensive end for the Houston Texans, J.J. Watt, deliver the commencement address.
And dream big, work hard was my motto. Because I truly believed that you should have as big of dreams as you want in this world. Never let anybody tell you you can't accomplish those dreams.
A nearly 1,000 doctoral, Masters of Fine Arts, and medical professional degree students had a ceremony at the Cole Center. During that graduation, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Steve Miller was presented with an honorary degree. Now, you and I already know what makes this state special, but a new report says people are finally understanding what it is we love about Wisconsin. The state's tourism industry brought in nearly $22 billion last year. A new report from the State Department of Tourism says visitor spending rose nearly 5% in 2018 to a little over $13 billion. Tourism brought in nearly $3 billion in tax revenues, and most of this growth is tied with recreational activities, the Brewers playoff run, the CrossFit Games, and the Harley-Davidson's 115th anniversary celebration in Milwaukee. That's what all contributed to that growth. And here in Madison, events like Bucky on Parade, the CrossFit Games we just mentioned, and the World Dairy Expo are helping to boost Dane County's tourism. And Dane County tourism raked in $1.3 billion in 2018. And Destination Madison says that's a 5% gain since 2017. Dane County accounts for nearly 10% of visitor spending across the entire state. And you can add to the list of reasons to visit Madison in an effort to reimagine hidden and secondary doors on State Street in downtown. City of Madison and its Central Business Improvement District have launched a new public art project called Downtown Doors. The project showcases 25 local artists at more than 25 locations across downtown Madison in an effort to spotlight the city's art community.
It's really important that we show some love to our local artists and that we showcase their work. And that folks know the incredible creativity that is available right here in our community.
And similar to last year's Bucky on Parade, there will be both digital and print guides to help the community find all locations throughout the city. All the doors will remain up for about 2 years. Now, Madison's night market returned this week, but in case you missed that one or sat it out because of the weather, you'll have 3 more chances. The market runs once a month through September, shutting down Gilman Street for the 3rd annual event. It features vendors, arts and crafts, pop-up restaurants, drinks, and live music. We're getting close to summer nights full of music in the air, and Madison's Summer Concert Series has announced this year's lineup. Live on King Street returns on June 14th with the first of 6 free concerts outside the 100 block on King Street, outside the Majestic Theater. Whiskey Myers will kick off the season that night with Built to Spill and Here Comes the Mummies taking the stage the next 2 weeks. Folk bluegrass band The Dead South and Madison favorite Rod Turfcoles and the Bench Press will play the first 2 Fridays in August, with the season finale on September 13th still to be announced. You can find more about these bands and the lineup on our website, channel3000.com. We now know more about what Madison's upcoming public market will look like. The project is still a couple of years from completion, but this week, the city and foundation hosted an open house. Now, this is the current Fleet Services building at the intersection of East Johnson and First Near on the Near East Side. People could give their feedback on the designs, which the city is hoping to have finalized by the end of the summer. The entire project should be completed by 2021.
We're full steam ahead. We have a great partnership between the Public Market Foundation, the nonprofit that will operate the market, and the City of Madison, who's developing the market. All of the pieces are coming together.
Any interested vendors, White says there will be 35 to 45 spaces available. The vendor selection process will begin at the start of next year. Madison's public golf courses took on historic losses last year, and Madison officials are now moving to make changes. The courses lost over $860,000 in 2018, according to parks officials. The golf courses bring a lot of value to Madison residents, but now it's impossible to ignore the financial implications. In response, Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway created a golf course task force that will look at options like closing courses, reducing the number of holes, and subsidizing golf with taxpayer funds. In national consumer news this morning, Walmart is raising the age to buy tobacco to 21 starting July 1st. The move comes after concerns from health officials about e-cigarettes getting into the hands of minors and encouraging nicotine addiction. Walmart also plans to stop selling fruit-flavored e-cigarette products and hopefully warding off younger users. Now, Google is unveiling a new and less expensive version of its popular Pixel smartphone. The announcement was made this week at Google's yearly developer conference in California. The Pixel 3a phones will cost $399, which is half as much as the original products. In addition to that, Google is adding more carrier options, including Sprint, T-Mobile, and U.S. Cellular. Prior to that, their phones were only available on Verizon. If you're headed to the grocery store today, you probably won't see misshapen peppers or bruised apples, and that's for good reason. Most ugly fruits and vegetables never make it to the produce aisle simply because they don't look that good. Now, there's a service launching in Madison to keep ugly produce from going to waste, saving you money, helping local farmers, and cutting down on food waste. The company is called Imperfect Produce, and it would take fruit that normally ends up in a landfill and ships it directly to your home.
Our mission is to try to recover as much of that food as we can and bring it directly to the consumer for, a savings of up to 30%.
Francisco and began serving Madison this week. Boxes start at $11. Today is Mother's Day, and just in time for the annual holiday, we're learning Wisconsin is near the top when it comes to the best states in the U.S. for working moms. A new Wallet Hub study shows that the Badger State is number 8, and that study looked at everything from female unemployment rate to average women's salary, potential parental leave policy, and daycare quality. Massachusetts was the top of the list, while Minnesota came in just one notch ahead of us at number 7. Alabama and Louisiana came in at the bottom. The Bucks will find out who they're going to play later today in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's because Toronto and Philadelphia are headed to a Game 7 in their conference semifinal series. Game 6 Thursday night in Philadelphia, the Sixers' big three came through. Jimmy Butler had 25, Ben Simmons 21, and Joel Embiid had 17 points and 12 rebounds as the Sixers won that one, 112-101. The winner of tonight's game will play the Bucks in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Milwaukee next Wednesday. That's something the Bucks are really looking forward to.
We're happy that we were able to clinch here in Milwaukee. We're happy that we are going to the third round, and we're happy that the people are into it.
I know that feeling going home. You're not playing your best the way you want to play, getting put out. This group came a long way. We, playing for each other, playing for the city of Milwaukee franchise. man, we having fun.
The Bucks finished off the Boston Celtics in Game 5 of the conference semifinals last week, winning 4 straight. Again, they'll learn their fate after tonight's Game 7, which is being played in Toronto tonight at 6. The sun came out late Saturday, and it's already coming up this Mother's Day morning. Here's a live look outside. Chris has your first full forecast coming up next.
And we're waking up this morning to temperatures that are a little bit cooler than they were at this time yesterday by about 10 degrees. In fact, we actually have temperatures that are mainly in the 30s for a lot of folks. And we're not just talking 30s, but for some of us, that is the lower 30s. And some of us have actually even dipped below freezing. In fact, Watoma at 30 right now, Fond du Lac at 32. Madison, we're just 2 degrees above at 34. 34 as you work your way up towards the Dells as well. Here's the deal. As we go throughout the day, we will begin to warm up. But in the meantime, we do have frost advisories from Madison and points towards the north and east. That's just because the growing season has started. And at this point, you want to make sure that you are taking care of any plants that are essentially potentially hurt by the cold. This is the sunshine, though. Right now, we're looking from our station towards the east, showing you the beautiful sunrise that we've had. We jump over towards the Edgewater sky camera, and again, we see plenty of sunshine out there. Temperatures, again, are in the lower 30s. Winds coming out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. But that wind direction turns out of the south as we go throughout the day. That ushers in cloud cover. In fact, here's some of that cloud cover right now over Platteville. There are no showers coming out of those clouds, at least at the moment. There's a small possibility that we do see that later on as more showers and thunderstorms are occurring back to the west, especially across parts of Iowa as we speak. Notice how it's starting to fall apart, though. It's running into a lot of drier air. The only thing that we'll truly have to watch with that is the cloud cover that's been associated. So we're going to watch that cloud cover going throughout the morning and into the afternoon as that slowly begins to move in. That's all a part of a region of low pressure and a weak cold front. But the high pressure just northeast of Wisconsin should keep the air just dry enough that I don't think we truly have to worry about any rain chances. In fact, we'll top out around 57 this afternoon. Notice those shower chances stay at bay mainly south of us, but we see that cloud cover around. That begins to work its way towards the south and east, and then comes the clear skies. Tonight, we'll see those lows into the upper 30s and then low 60s to mid 60s for those highs moving into your Monday, and really the rest of the work week will be fairly dry. There's a weak rain chance it's going to come our way Tuesday and into Wednesday. We'll watch that. It doesn't look to be a washout, but again, some spotty showers will be possible. Then towards the weekend, we're going to watch another chance of some showers move our way, but there are signs that we could stay drier towards the end of the weekend. So we're going to be watching that forecast closely. Temperatures are trending a bit warmer. We have more 70s in your forecast before more rain chances Sunday into early next week, Adam.
Well, Chris, Mama Duckster drove all the way from Michigan to be with me for Mother's Day today. So what do I tell her? Do we just need our jackets? Are we going to be able to walk around?
I think you'll be able to walk around. I feel like Michigan has had similar temperatures, so she should be comfortable. But have an umbrella just in case a spotty shower pops up. The truth is, I don't think you're going to need it.
That was a bit of a slight at Michigan. Things are just as bad as they are here all the time.
That's the upper Midwest for you. It's the Great Lakes as a whole.
Well, hey, it's no surprise to us. Chris, we'll see you again a little bit later in the show.
Sounds good.
Well, after an unusually wet season last year, many farmers aren't feeling as confident going into this growing season. Steve Pincus of TP Produce in Evansville has been farming for 43 years, but he says last year was the wettest one he's ever seen. He says climate change has destroyed about a quarter of his produce, meaning at the end of the year, his earnings were essentially zero.
I think every farmer wants average weather. We take enough risks that we want the weather to be on our side, and we're always working around that average. And if that average is changing quickly, then we're going to have trouble.
Willie Street Co-op says some of their local producers saw up to 75% losses last year, so they didn't have much to put on sale, which in turn raised the prices of local vegetables. Mindy Quintana will be sharing the full story ahead in our 7 o'clock hour of the show. Fishing season is in full swing, and while lake sturgeon spawning season slows down on Wisconsin's Wolf River up north, that's important because the state's sturgeon population is helping to revive the species across the country. Biologists are gathering data on their spawning, then sending some of those sturgeon eggs to hatcheries so the fish can be released in states like Georgia, the Carolinas, and Tennessee. Those states are seeing sturgeon populations that have dropped or completely disappeared. And looking ahead, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is predicting parts of the Great Lakes will rise to record high levels in the next 6 months. According to a report released this week, the lakes have been rising steadily for several years and are getting an extra boost this year as melting snow up north combines with recent rainfall. Levels on Lake Superior and Lake Erie are expected to break records that were set decades ago. Lakes Michigan, Huron, and Ontario are not expected to reach record levels, but they're still expected to rise significantly. According to a recent study, 41% of Americans know nothing about the Nazis' largest concentration camp. New exhibit is hoping to change that. And next, we take you behind the scenes of the Holocaust exhibit of the Museum of Jewish Heritage. How museum leaders hope it will educate Americans on what really happened and ensure no one ever forgets.
Well, most of us are waking up to some sunshine this morning over the area. The only problem is temperatures are rather chilly. In fact, a lot of low 30s showing up for folks. 34 right now in Madison, Watoma 2 degrees below freezing, Fond du Lac at the freezing mark. In fact, some of these areas north and east of Madison are under a frost advisory until 8 o'clock. So they're going to go through the end of this show. In the meantime, we have high pressure in control at keeping that sunshine around, but this region of low pressure that you do see over parts of the upper Midwest, that will throw more cloud cover our way, along with the slightest chance of showers this afternoon. But that high pressure should bring just enough dry air that I do think we'll be able to get by mostly dry for a lot of folks. Expect the clouds to increase right around lunchtime, staying overcast through the evening with highs around 58.
Thank you, Chris. And it is the first weekend an exhibit dedicated to the museum or the victims of Auschwitz is open here in the U.S. According to a recent study, it has a lot of work to do when it comes to educating Americans as to what really happened. Recent study shows 41% of Americans know nothing about the Nazis' largest concentration camp. Jeff Glore shows us how this first of its kind exhibit will make sure no one ever forgets.
Your tattoo.
A5812.
The tattoo on Shirley Getzman's left arm has faded. The memories have not.
When did they put this on you?
About the first week when I got there.
In 1944, Getzman, then 17, was pulled from her home and eventually separated from her family. Only she and her brother survived. Her parents and grandmother were killed, along with more than 1 million other Jews at the Nazis' largest concentration camp.
This is my first job.
Sorting shoes.
Yeah.
Shirley found her mother's shoe inside crematorium number 4, where she was forced to work.
I made a fast decision. I cannot take it with me. I left it.
Did you say goodbye
No.
when you saw the shoe?
No, I didn't say goodbye. I just said, she is dead.
We met Shirley at the Museum of Jewish Heritage, inside the exhibit called Auschwitz, not long ago, not far away.
Every button was touched by a fingers of a person who was murdered.
It is the life work of Robert Jan van Pelt.
Shirley is a witness, and the burden that a witness carries on her or his shoulders is immense.
Curators here have carefully handled and displayed objects never seen on American soil. More than 700, many overwhelming. A replica of a gas chamber door, the side the Nazis closed, the side their victims couldn't open.
The two sides of the door speak about total power and total powerlessness.
A sock still tucked into a shoe that belonged to a young boy who was murdered.
This is in some way the last act of a human being. So this was not abandoned. Yeah? This was put somewhere carefully.
This little boy tucked his sock in to the shoe, thinking he would come back to it.
Yes.
There are also more than 400 photographs, brutal evidence of 20th century deprivation and desperation.
One of the reasons it is good for the world to again be confronted with this story is that when this generation passes away, an exhibition like this is one of the ways to take over their burden and to carry it on.
Do you think this could happen again?
Yeah.
You do?
Because people forget history.
But isn't that why a museum is here like this, so people don't forget?
I hope so. That's what I'm trying to do as much as I can.
By sharing your story?
Yeah.
There's a full hour of News 3 ahead on News 3 Now this morning, Sunday. Next, we're running through the day's top stories. But first, here's a preview of what's to come on an all-new For the Record.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil Heinen, and today on For the Record, we will explore the state of higher education in Wisconsin, in particular, the role of the University of Wisconsin system in educating 170,000 students and touching the lives of over 1 million Wisconsin citizens in the midst of political and budget and changing demographic challenges. My guest is University of Wisconsin System President Ray Cross, and our conversation is coming up this morning at 10:30 on News 3 Now.
Unusually wet season last year, many farmers say they aren't feeling as confident going into this growing season. How they're continuing to grapple with the uncertain weather in this News 3 Now exclusive.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It is 7 in the morning on Mother's Day, May 12th. I'm Adam Duxter. We'll get a check on weather with Chris in just a second, but first let's get you caught up in today's headlines. Thousands of students are waking up this morning a little happier, and their parents probably too, with more than 7,000 UW-Madison bachelor's, master's, and law students graduating this weekend at Camp Randall. It's more than 43,000 people came to cheer them on. One of the highlights of Saturday's ceremony was hearing former Wisconsin football star and current defensive end for the Houston Texans, J.J. Watt, deliver the commencement address. Friday, nearly 1,000 doctoral Masters of Fine Arts and medical professional degree students had a ceremony at the Cole Center. During that graduation, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Steve Miller was presented with an honorary degree. And if you're headed to the grocery store today, you probably won't see misshapen peppers or bruised apples, and for good reason. Most ugly fruits and vegetables never make it to the produce aisle simply because they don't look good. Now there's a service launching in Madison to keep ugly produce from going to waste, saving you money, helping local farmers, and cutting down on food waste. The company is called Imperfect Produce, and it takes fruit that would normally end up in a landfill and ships it direct to your home. Boxes start at $11. A new report says people are finally understanding what we all love about Wisconsin. The state's tourism industry brought in nearly $22 billion last year, and a new report from the Department of Tourism says visitor spending rose nearly 5% in 2018 to a little over $13 billion. Tourism brought in nearly $3 billion in tax revenues. Most of this growth is tied to recreational activities, the Brewers playoff run, CrossFit Games, and Harley-Davidson's 115th anniversary celebration in Milwaukee. That's what contributed to that growth. And we now welcome on meteorologist Chris Reese. And Chris, I got to know, it's Mother's Day. Am I going to be on the patio for brunch with my mom today?
You may be able to. It's going to be just a little chilly as you're out there because get this, Adam, I know it's at this point mid-May, but we still have frost advisories to discuss from Madison and points towards the north and east as you work your way up towards places such as Oshkosh and Sturgeon Bay and whatnot. Now, this is just because we had clear skies overnight that allowed those temperatures to fall deep into the 30s. Some folks even went below freezing. Watoma still at 30 right now, but we're starting to warm up. The sun has come up and the temperatures are starting to respond to that. 39 right now in Madison, Janesville, Monroe, and Mineral Point have all made it towards 41. Platteville at 40 as well. And Platteville has a little bit more cloud cover. See, we have the sunshine over us right now. We jump over the Platteville, and that's where things are a little bit more overcast. That's because the next system is starting to move on in. It's this region of low pressure. Now, most of that rainfall that you see associated will slide just to the south. High pressure to the north should keep the air just dry enough. That cloud cover should be the only thing we have to contend with, but even still, I do have to leave that slight chance of a shower in the forecast for your Mother's Day. We'll see those temperatures top out right around 58.
And Chris, you think when things warm up, they're going to be warm for good?
I hope so, but what I've learned so far in Wisconsin is that you just never know.
It's well said, Chris, well said. Well, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation is planning to use aerial enforcement tomorrow in Jefferson County. The State Patrol will use aircrafts and ground-based officers to enforce the speed limit and other traffic laws along I-94. Last year, there were nearly 20,000 speed-related crashes that caused nearly 8,000 injuries and 173 deaths in the state. Officials say that's more than the number of people injured or killed in alcohol-related crashes. Officials say the weather is not good enough for flying, so they will use the ground units right now for that enforcement. More local news this morning. Last weekend, we told you about Monica Johnson. She's the Madison resident who came home to find a bus stop in her front yard dug out of the ground. She says no one was told it was happening, so she made a plea to Madison Metro for them to move it. This week, she found out they're not going to. The city says the spot is the safest since it's right across the street from a sidewalk, which feeds into a crosswalk. They also say they had the right to dig it because the city technically owns the front 14 feet of Johnson's yard as a public right-of-way. But Johnson says it's because it's in the right-of-way. Doesn't make it right. She's frustrated at the lack of communication in the process, but hasn't given up.
I hope this isn't done. I know that he sounded very final and like it was done, but in my mind it can't be, because it's so grossly unfair. This can't be the end.
Madison says she won't have to pay for the bus pad, but she's worried that it will lower the value of her home. The bus pad isn't the first in the city, and it won't be the last. The city passed a resolution giving Metro 5 years to convert all bus stops to ADA compliant pads, which means in this conversation in Monica's front yard could be coming to a bus stop near you. We'll have more on this ongoing saga ahead in our 7:30 half hour. A change is coming for the Madison School District, where Superintendent Jennifer Cheatham will officially leave her post by the end of August. Now, we first learned this week that she's taking a job at Harvard, so we know what's next for her, but there's still some unknowns when it comes to what's next in the district. The school board will vote on an official replacement this summer. Recently elected board member Ananda Marilli says she's open to hiring someone from in who knows the complexities of the district and has already established relationships.
I think there is something to say about that. That is really critical. That I feel like I definitely have a strong opinion about, like, you know, if this is the direction that the board would go, like that, it would be something that I would definitely support.
Should be named by the end of this month. As local farmers begin another growing season, many aren't feeling as confident. Our Amanda Quintana shows us how last year's heavy rain has farmers worried that that could be the new normal.
We bring them in, they're in here for a few weeks, they go out to the field.
This routine, something Steve Pincus has come to get used to, farming for most of his adult life.
I've started seriously in '76.
But still, he says he hasn't perfected it.
There's stuff to figure out every year because conditions are different every year.
In some ways, that's part of the appeal of the industry, always taking on a new challenge.
It's just become more intensified.
But his 43 years didn't prepare him for 2018.
It was by far the wettest year I've ever seen.
A weather change so dramatic, it has Pincus thinking it can't just be blamed on the ups and downs of farming.
We've seen a lot more heavy rainfalls. By that I mean 2- and 3-inch pounding rains. And that always has happened some, but now it's happening frequently.
Because of this climate change, TP Produce had its worst season for overall production last year.
We couldn't come close to the yields and quality that we were used to.
Sensitive vegetables like carrots, no match for heavy rains.
It beats up the plants, it opens up, it creates wounds, it opens them up to disease. And 1 or 2 storms a year, okay, they will recover, they'll heal from it. But when it's too frequent and we have too much moisture and humidity in the air, we see a lot more plant diseases.
The certified organic farm in Evansville can usually handle its fair share of water.
What you see is rye. It's a grass.
A quarter of the produce was destroyed, meaning Pincus's earnings last year were essentially zero.
Normally I would say, yes, we're going to do better. But last year was such a big deal. The weather was so intense that it puts some doubt in my mind. And that's hard to farm with that doubt.
And he's not the only farmer going into this season less confident.
It's pretty clear things are changing.
The proof in the produce, or the lack of.
Most years, like all through September, all of our produce sales are local. And this year we were hurting to find even just a few things that we had enough volume that we could actually promote and sell a lot of.
At Willie Street Co-op, it was obvious their local producers were hit hard.
We probably saw some that had 50, 70% losses, which for a younger farmer who doesn't have a lot of resources built up could be really, really detrimental to their business.
And we actually based our land purchase thinking about climate change.
It's David Bachhuber's 3rd year and just his first full season on this new farm. He's feeling more prepared because of last year's losses.
So we know that if we have a drought, we have a great well and we're covered there. And we know that if it rains too much, we get a little bit of drainage without having all of our soil wash out.
He says he didn't even realize the climate change last year since he's so new to the industry.
And so it's actually been in talking to older farmers that I could really find out, wow, this is very much outside the norm.
He found a mentor in Pincus, learning how to build his own 30-acre farm.
We're building a greenhouse, we're building a wash area, we're building coolers, we're building a lot right now. So there's a lot of change that's happening in this in this farm. The thing about farming is it's just filled with so many variable challenges. Like the whole thing is stacked with challenges. And so it was just another one to take into account.
One wet, bad year for a mature farmer is just one of many good years, but it's 40% of Bach Huber's farming experience, so he's ready for it to continue.
If it's rain, if it's hail, if it's snow, if it's random cold, if it's random heat, if it's a total drought, we have to be prepared for all of those things. And so it is really about using our time now to be able to prepare for that and not to be surprised.
And if last year is any indication, farmers will need to adapt fast.
And if that average is changing quickly, then we're going to have trouble.
In Evansville, Amanda Quintana, News 3 Now.
Because farmers couldn't sell the Willie Street Co-op at their usual lower price, the store had to raise some of the prices of their local products. They say this climate change could continue to affect consumers. And a sunny day ahead for your Mother's Day festivities, but you'll want to grab a coat. It's definitely a chilly one out there. Here's a live look outside. Chris has your first full forecast next. Plus, from all of us here at News 3 Now, happy Mother's Day to all the moms here in South Central Wisconsin, including my mom, Diane, who came all the way from Michigan to visit today. Wanted to share some pictures of us with our moms throughout the morning. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning.
Plenty of sunshine to start the Mother's Day out there, which is absolutely fantastic. Temperatures are just a little bit chilly, so if you're heading out to breakfast, grab a jacket. We are colder than we were at this time yesterday by 6 degrees, and that's with temperatures that are well into the 30s for a lot of folks. Right now, we do sit at 39 here in Madison. Things do get better as we go throughout the day, so that is the good news. But before that happens, we do have frost advisories from Madison and points towards the north and east, just due to the fact that with the growing season returning, we have plants that are now vulnerable to frost and the cold that have sprung up. So hopefully those are all okay. Again, plenty of sunshine right now. Here's a live look from the station camera looking towards the east over Madison. And again, those temperatures mainly in the 30s, starting to approach that 40-degree mark. But those winds that are out of the north are eventually going to be turning out of the south. And when that happens, we'll see those clouds start to increase. In fact, back towards the south and west over Platteville, we have a lot of cloud cover right now. That's as the next system begins to approach from the south and west. No rainfall coming out of those clouds here at the moment, but you can see the entire system as a whole over parts of Iowa with the lightning and the thunder along with the weak showers that are there. What we're really watching is not so much the rain chance, but the cloud cover that's going to be coming off of those showers and thunderstorms as it works its way towards the south and east of Wisconsin. That whole system being deflected by a region of high pressure that we have towards the north and east. That high should provide just enough dry air to keep most of us dry as we go throughout the day. However, I'll be honest, I cannot rule out at least a slight chance of a shower as we go into the afternoon. But again, most of us should be dry. We'll see temperatures in the mid-50s by lunchtime, topping out around 57 to 58 today. That cloud cover this afternoon is going to keep those temperatures just a little bit colder. The cloud cover does break up overnight. We'll see those lows falling back into the low 40s and upper 30s. And then on Monday, we start to see a warming trend. We're talking afternoon temperatures back into the mid 60s, and we'll perhaps see some warmer temperatures going through the week ahead as well. But we're going to be staying dry Monday and Tuesday. Late Tuesday night into Wednesday, we'll watch a weak rain chance come back into the picture before we're dry Thursday and into early Friday. By the time we get you towards next weekend, things will be a little bit unsettled. We're watching for chances of rain back in the forecast. It's all about the timing and where the front's set up for that. We still have plenty of days to watch it. Right now, at least, it does look like the rain will hold off until at least the second half of the weekend for the most part, other than a rain chance on Friday night. We'll watch that closely. In the meantime, enjoy the dry weather that we have out there for now, other than that slight chance of showers later. Sunshine on Monday, and then temperatures back to where they should be for this time of the year as we go through the week, Adam.
Well, dry and warm, definitely two words that folks around here are excited to hear, right?
Exactly. It's a word that a lot of folks have needed. Our farmers have been suffering with a lot of the heavy rain, so hopefully we can dry things out for those guys.
Well, Chris, we'll check back in with you later in the show. Thanks for that.
My pleasure.
Well, we've been asking you to share our morning with us, and we've got some folks doing just that. Mary Siegeflag posted this on Facebook, Bee and Daffodils. It's a beautiful photo there. Looks, again, dry and warm, so thank you for sharing, Mary. Well, what does your morning look like? Take a picture. Post it on the channel3000.com Facebook page or on Twitter using the hashtag MyNews3ThisMorning. We'll share our favorites right here on News 3 Now this morning. Let's take a look at this. A drone light show lighting up the night sky. The drones flew in a display of various images, such as the map of Thailand, a picture of the king, and the words, "Long live the king." It's all in celebration of the coronation of, get this, the country's newest king. Thailand has had a constitutional monarchy since 1932, when a revolution ended absolute rule by kings. Country's monarchs are still regarded as almost divine and seen as a unifying presence in the country. Criticism of the king and other top members of the royal family could result in a prison sentence of up to 15 years. Wow. Now back to the light show. Still to come on News 3 Now this morning, Sunflower Days are returning to Middleton this year, but not without some controversy. Inside the fight to keep the beloved event free as organization shifts into new hands. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms that are out there. We're waking up to sunshine, but I will have to say there's a chance of more cloud cover and a slight chance of showers as we go throughout the afternoon. Expect those temperatures topping out around 58. If you're taking your mom out for breakfast this morning, there is sunshine as you step out the door. A few high clouds on the horizon. Temperatures are starting to warm up underneath that sunshine. We're now at 39 here in Madison. 40s as you work your way towards the south and east. Janesville at 41, Monroe at 42, Kenosha at 43 as we speak. We're watching high pressure over us right now that should help deflect a region of low pressure towards the south. That's the reason I do think most of us stay dry today, but we're going to watch it and see if any showers do pop up. We'll keep you up to date throughout the day.
Well, Chris, I'm starting to think it's going to be till Father's Day before we're seeing some of the warmer weather that we want.
You know, climatologically, that would make the most sense around here. Might take a while, but gradually things I do think are going to warm up.
We'll keep an eye on it. Thank you for that, Chris.
My pleasure.
Well, first take a look at this. Several cameras in Dane County captured a video of a meteor late Friday night. Pretty cool, huh? This video is from UW-Madison Space Engineering Center's camera. Middleton police say they saw it fly overhead at around 11:45 at night. Looking ahead, after a season of absence, the famous sunflowers at the Pope Farm Conservancy are returning for the summer, but not without some controversy. This is the first of the year the town of Middleton is putting on the event, hiring an events planning company and charging admission $4 per adult. The town says the fees will cover the event overhead and go back into the park, but a representative of the Pope family says this goes against the town's agreement with his family when they sold the property to keep it for free.
And we don't at all object to the fact of sunflower days, but it should be like it's been since day one, free and open to the public. And the fact is that if you have a restrictive covenant and you allow it to be compromised, you set a precedent for what's going to come in the future.
We want to be extremely respectful to them, but we believe, and our attorneys have told us, that we have the right to charge a reasonable fee for entrance into this particular event.
The event runs through July 26th all the way through August 4th of this year. The town will be hiring the company Race Day Events to put on the Sunflower Days, which they say will make things like parking, transportation to and from the event run more smoothly. There's a half an hour News 3 Now still to come on this morning Sunday. Next, we're running through the morning's top stories, including through changes that could be coming to area golf courses as you hit the links this summer to bring in some more green. And there's a new report out this morning talking about how the state can help out keep our drinking water clean. Those stories are next now on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning. It is 7:30 on May 12th, and let us be the first to say Happy Mother's Day. I'm Adam Duxter, and we'll get a check on our weather with Chris in just a second. But first, let's get you caught up on today's headlines. Today is Mother's Day, and just in time for the annual holiday, we're learning Wisconsin is near the top when it comes to the best states for U.S. for working moms. New Wallet Hub study shows that the Badger State is number 8, and that looked at everything from the female unemployment rate to average women's salary, potential parental leave policy, and daycare quality. Massachusetts was top of the list, while Minnesota came in just one notch ahead of us at number 7. Alabama and Louisiana came in at the bottom. Madison's public golf courses took on historic losses last year, and Madison officials are now moving to make changes. The courses lost over $860,000 in 2018. According to parks officials, the golf courses bring a lot of value to Madison's residents, but now it's impossible to ignore the financial implications. In response, Mayor Satya Rose Conway created a golf course task force that will look at options like closing courses, reducing the number of holes, and subsidizing golf with taxpayer funds. If you're headed to the grocery store today, you'll probably won't see many misshapen peppers or bruised apples, and that's for a good reason. Most ugly fruits and vegetables never make it to the produce aisle simply because they don't look good. Now there's a service launching in Madison to keep that ugly produce from going to waste, saving you money, helping local farmers, and cutting down on food waste. The company's called Imperfect Produce, and they take food that would normally end up in a landfill, ship it directly to your home. Boxes start at $11. Now, Chris, we turn to weather, and I got to ask, my mom drove all the way from Michigan to spend Mother's Day with me today. Are we going to be outside, and are we going to enjoy our day?
I don't know. I'll say this. My mom didn't come from Houston. She didn't want to deal with the Wisconsin weather. But I do think that some folks should be able to get outdoors with their moms as we go throughout the day. It might be cloudy, though. High pressure in control right now. That's why we have the sunshine. But this region of low pressure across the plains right now is inching ever so closely towards us as we go throughout the day. I do think that high pressure is going to allow it to pass just to our south, but we're going to be watching at least for a chance of showers going throughout the day. Here's a live look at Platteville right now. You see the cloud cover streaming in ahead of that system that's working into town. Once we come towards Madison, though, we don't have the cloud cover. Plenty of sunshine right now. A ray of sunshine almost looking like the screens are broken there. Temperatures are in the 30s and 40s for us. 41 in Watertown right now. Janesville at 41. Platteville at 41 as well. We do sit at 39 here in Madison and towards the north and east with those temperatures in the 30s. That's why we had frost advisories overnight. But we're going above freezing now. These frost advisories should come down by the time we get you towards 8 o'clock. Plan your Mother's Day with increasing cloud cover and a slight chance for showers. We'll see those highs right around 58, Adam.
Oh, Chris, what is the weather like in South Texas this time of year?
Honestly, it's hot and humid with showers and thunderstorms. And right now, they've actually been dealing with some flooding, which is very, very common. But that's still better than Wisconsin weather for some folks down there. So I guess I'll let them have it.
Well, they say if it's the heat, it's for me, right?
Yep, that's the thing.
Chris, thank you. We'll join with you later in the show.
All right.
Winger Boats and Brittingham Boats are now open for the first time in 2019. The 2 boat rental spots are open again today and then next weekend before they open daily starting May 25th. Madison Boats only allow stand-up paddleboard, canoe, kayak, paddle boat, rowboat, and water mat rentals. Workers there are hoping for a better season than last.
So we did have a lot of issues last year with the lakes flooding, with the water really high and some algae blooms. I would say absolutely take advantage whenever you get a good day. Get out there on the lakes. We never know exactly how many good days we're going to have in the summer to get out here.
During the opening weekends, Winger Boats and Brittingham Boats will be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. But once all boathouses are open, the hours will be 8:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. The Clean Lakes Alliance is out with its annual State of the Lakes report, and this year it includes information about community phosphorus reduction projects, how large blue-green algae blooms, August's historic flooding affected the lakes, and it also touches on well contamination. State's Department of Natural Resources Secretary addressed the state's role in keeping our water clean.
A short-term fix to contaminated wells doesn't stop the root cause. That's why we're investing $75,000 to help fund the completion of the Southwest Wisconsin Geology and Groundwater Study.
This week's annual event also featured a panel discussion between city, county, and state leaders. More local news now. The city's engineering office is now saying it made a clerical mistake when it didn't alert a woman about a city bus pad coming into her yard with no notification. Now lots of other folks in town are wondering whether this could happen to them. One homeowner's experience hearing the exact opposite about a concrete slab already on his property. Mike Wagner lives in the Dudgeon On Road neighborhood, and he says the slab was installed by a previous owner in 1983. Wagner moved into the home back in 2012 and was never told it was an issue, even when the city did an inspection of the property when he bought it. But this fall, he got a letter from the city engineering saying that it violates city code and has to go. Wagner says he doesn't understand why spending thousands of dollars to remove a concrete slab is his responsibility.
We're not exactly sure what they want us to do other than spend a bunch of money to change something that we didn't put here in the first place.
There are plans to dispute this with the city. Meanwhile, the city says it's open to hearing any concerns residents have regarding the use of public right-of-way. This Mother's Day, a woman in Ohio is honoring the mother she lost. Her mom died suddenly, but saved many lives in her death, including someone very close to her. Julian Glover has their story.
Josie Brown is thankful every day to her mom for saving her boyfriend Mike's life.
What would I say to my mom? Thank you, that I was proud of her. There were so many things I'd want to say.
In December, her mom, Carrie, died suddenly from a brain aneurysm at just 46 years old. Josie says it was no surprise that her always willing to help mom was a registered organ donor. Mike Rogers had been on the waiting list for a new kidney for 8 months due to complications from a genetic condition. Her family insisted Mike receive one of Carrie's kidneys.
It was a lot to take on because I would rather be on dialysis still and her mom be here.
2 days after Carrie's death, they got the call. The kidney was a perfect match for Mike.
Something so good now to something so bad. It was just a true blessing.
The transplant took place at the Cleveland Clinic.
Mike was a little bit young for him to have this kidney failure.
Mike's surgeon, Dr. Alvin Wee, says the wait time for many organs can be years, and those wait times are getting longer.
Donation is very important because, it saves lives, and you can do this both as a living donor and as an organ donor.
Several of Carrie's other organs, including her heart and lungs, along with her corneas and skin tissue, were also donated.
She's helping those people live on.
Josie and Mike hope more people step up and make the same life-saving decision Carrie did.
So now I get to, I want to marry her, live my life with her. And I can always be thankful for her mom for that. Truly like a guardian angel I like to think of.
Julian Glover, CBS News, Louisville, Ohio.
More than 110,000 people are on the waiting list for an organ, and about 20 people die every day waiting for a transplant. You might have some questions about what kind of political clothing you're allowed to wear at work after we shared Felix Caraballo's story earlier this week. He works for the city of Madison, and he feels singled out for not being able to wear his Make America Great Again hat to work, although he says coworkers can wear Medicare for All pins. We spoke with area lawyers about how employers can restrict political materials in the workplace. Civil rights attorney Jeff Scott Olson says private employers aren't governed by the First Amendment and can prohibit political clothes and items. Public employers do follow under the First Amendment, but still can impose restrictions.
The thing the government can't do is it can't discriminate on the basis of content. In other words, it can't say the Republicans can wear their Republican slogans and the Democrats can't wear theirs, or vice versa.
The City of Madison assistant attorney says Medicare for All pins don't support a specific candidate, while MAGA hats do, so that's why the hat isn't allowed. Meanwhile, the city of Janesville is looking ahead to the future after a medical technology company broke ground on a new expansion that will bring more jobs to Rock County. Shine Medical Technologies broke ground on a second building in Janesville this week, and that's where they'll produce a radioactive isotope that's used in medical imaging tests to fight cancer. The company's founder and CEO says he knows his company name came to Janesville during a trying time and is happy to help turn things around.
When the GM plant closed, a lot of people wondered if the city was going to survive, and people wrote books on it right at the time, and they were wondering if the city was going to survive. And here's Janesville prospering, not because of Shine, we're a small part of this story, but because the city leaders have demonstrated the same tenacity that we did.
The new building is done. It will be home to 8 of the company's isotope production systems, and the company says it will expand its staff from 90 to about 150 employees. Sliding into 10 years of softball fun and a lifetime of memories, Bob from Madison Senior Softball League is here to talk about the lessons he's learned from playing the game for more than 50 years now, how you can join or watch these guys play. Plus, all of us here at News 3 Now want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the moms here in South Central Wisconsin. Wanted to share some pictures of our moms throughout the morning. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. Well, like many boys growing up, we have some folks that absolutely love baseball, and Ray and Bob enjoyed playing together when they attended St. Bernard's grade school here in Madison more than 50 years ago. And 10 years ago, the now seniors decided to get back into it, forming Madison Senior Softball League. And Bob's here, the league's co-founder, and he joins this morning to get a look at the start of their 10th season. And I got to ask you, 'cause folks who love baseball, I feel like you can remember the exact moment. So how did you start playing?
Personally, I started playing way back when I was an East Sider with a bunch of older kids, and they had little leagues for us and midget leagues, and then you got into high school softball, and then you played city softball, baseball. The city baseball league had a program for us, and that's how it grew. It's got better and better every year. So.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit more about this league and how you guys got started with that.
Back in the fall of 2009, my friend Ray Blum had this idea about, he said there was no senior softball league in the city of Madison. He called me and he asked me, Bob, I want to form this league, will you help me? I said, sure I will. So in the spring, we do a lot of advertisements and we got a great sponsor in Smart Motors. We were able to get 8 teams the first year, and now the league has grown to 12 teams on Wednesday and 8 teams on Thursday, and we are going strong 10 years later.
Where are folks coming from?
They come from all over. They come from Monroe, Blanchardville, Reedsburg, Baraboo, Oconomowoc, Janesville, any place that's in the Madison area.
And what do people like to do? I mean, you get a lot of fans out there as well, I'm sure.
Yes, we do. Mostly grandkids come out to watch their grandpas play ball. The wives come out, just spectators. They hear about the league and they want to watch us play ball. So,
and the games are competitive?
Yes, but it's all in fun. Win or lose, you don't go walk away. If you lose a ball game, you don't walk away feeling bad about it because you've had a good time out in the diamond for an hour and a half, and you never know when it's your last day out there playing ball, so you got to enjoy it while you can.
And you said you're a pitcher, correct? But you like to play all over the field?
I pitched and slow pitch, and I've played all over the place. I can play outfield, I can play first base. It's because I played all my life, so.
And we've got a baseball team here in Wisconsin too, right? The Brewers, and they're doing pretty well. They've got a ton of good players. If you had to compare yourself maybe to a player on the Brewer right now that you say you might model your game after, that you like to, that you enjoy watching, who would that be?
Oh my, I like Ryan Braun. He's a good guy. And there's also the catcher, this new guy they picked up. He's awesome. He's got a good switch hitter.
Well, right on. And how can folks come out and see a game?
Well, we play Wednesday mornings at 9:30 at Stampley Field in Verona. And there's also games at 10:45. They play at Thursday mornings at the same time. It's wide open. They have a concession stand there. The people can have snacks, watch us play ball, and watch us old-timers have some really good fun.
And if folks want to get involved themselves?
Yes, there's a website, Greater Madison Senior Softball, that you can log on to. There are phone numbers to call, contacts, or even stop out to watch us play, and we have applications right there at the Diamond.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Talking a little baseball, right?
Thank you for having me, and let's play 2 today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again. And it's setting up to be a beautiful week for some ball, so you might want to grab a light jacket today, but soon you might not need one at all. You're going to be getting a live look at the Capitol right now, and Chris is back with your full work week forecast next on News 3 Now this morning. But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can share their picture on TV.
Well, temperatures are just a little bit colder than 24 hours ago as you step out the door this morning. Most of that's across the western southern third of the state there, southern half rather. 6 degrees colder in Madison. The Dells 8 degrees colder than 24 hours ago. That's where their temperature is at 38. We sit at 39. Mineral Point is one of the warmer spots at 43 now. Same for our friends over in Watertown. Viroqua has even warmed up to 44. We do still have frost advisories from Madison and towards the north and east. Those frost advisories will be coming down as we go through about the next 10 to 15 minutes. Sunshine has allowed those temperatures to warm on up, but clouds will be working their way back into the picture eventually. Here's a live look from the Edgewater sky camera. You don't see the clouds yet. Winds coming out of the north at 3 miles per hour, but the winds will be becoming more southerly as we go through this afternoon. And here is what you see as you work your way towards the south and the southwest. This is Platteville. More cloud cover starting to stream in. There are signs of showers, especially south and west of Platteville throughout parts of eastern Iowa. Those aren't reaching the ground as of yet. What you see across parts of central and western Iowa coming out of Nebraska, that is reaching the ground. But what we're really watching is the cloud cover associated with that. We've seen these clouds kind of bubble up at times. They're working their way towards us, but overall, that region of low pressure as a whole should pass slightly to the south. High pressure to the north should supply. Whew, it's hard to talk this morning. Just enough dry air to push that low to the south, and it'll only give us cloud cover and a slight chance of rain as we go through the day. Let's take you hour by hour. This is 1 o'clock. Temperatures will be in the mid-50s at that point, so you may want a little bit of a jacket. 57 by 3, I do think our highs will be in the upper 50s. And then we start to get rid of that cloud cover towards 9 o'clock or so. We'll see those lows fall back into the upper 30s tonight into your Monday. More sunshine is expected on Monday as well. We're talking highs right around 65 degrees. And then into Tuesday, our pattern looks dry as well. Now, late Tuesday night into Wednesday, we will watch a weak little rain chance come on through by Wednesday evening and into Thursday. The weather's going to be dry. The next chance for showers actually arrives towards next weekend, and we're going to be watching the timing on that one. That really sets up the whole weekend, but there's still some details to be ironed out. Thankfully, we have a couple days to figure that out. But temperatures are likely warming up to average to above average as we go through this week, which is some fantastic news. We will see more sunshine thrown into the mix as well. No day right now that has a chance of rain is a complete washout in any way, shape, or form. So that is the good news. But of course, everyone is hoping for an overall drier pattern around here.
And you know, Chris, we talked about Wisconsin, Michigan, and even Texas so far over the course of the show. But when you look at the United States, are we seeing these colder temps across the board, or is it just us here in the Midwest?
Right now, it's been the northern half of the country. What we've had set up across the country is this active pattern because of warmer than average temperatures across the south and colder than average temperatures across the north. And that's sent several storm systems through the middle part of the country, which is why we've been so wet lately.
He's a scientist. Folks, we'll continue to keep an eye on that one. And thank you very much, Chris.
My pleasure.
We'll continue to watch that. And something else folks in Wisconsin are going to be watching today is Game 7 between the Raptors and the Sixers, because the Bucks are going to find out who they're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's because Toronto and Philadelphia are headed to that Game 7 in their conference semifinal series. Game 6 on Thursday night in Philly, the Sixers' big three came through. Jimmy Butler had 25, Ben Simmons 21, Joel Embiid with 17 and 12 boards as the Sixers won 112-101. And the winner of tonight's game will play the Bucks in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals in Milwaukee next Wednesday, and that's something the Bucks are really looking forward to.
We're happy that we were able to clinch here in Milwaukee. We're happy that we are going to the third round, and we're happy that the people are into it.
I know that feeling going home, not playing your best the way you want to play, getting put out. So, I mean, this group came a long way. We, playing for each other, playing for the city of Milwaukee franchise, and we having fun.
The Bucks finished off the Boston Celtics in Game 5 of the conference semis last week, winning 4 straight. Again, they'll learn their fate after tonight's Game 7, which is being played in Toronto tonight at 6. There's more news ahead on News 3 Now News 3 Now tonight at 5:30 and 10. But first, we'll head back with a final look at your Mother's Day forecast. A special shout out to all our moms. Welcome back, and from all of us here at News 3 Now, we want to leave you with this. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms here in South Central Wisconsin, especially ours. We hope you're enjoying this day, and we're celebrating you. If you're looking for something to treat the special lady in your life to, whether it's a place to grab brunch or a show to see tonight, head over to our website, channel3000.com, for a list of ideas. And my mother, Diane, drove in all the way from Michigan to be with us today. And you want to give your mom a shout out, Chris?
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to my mom down in Houston. She is not here. She did not want to deal with the Wisconsin weather. She said she'll be up this summer when it actually becomes summer.
Smart woman.
Around here. So that's what she's doing. She said her Texas body is not ready for these colder temperatures. But hey, as we go through the rest of today, if you're out with your moms, we will see cloud cover increasing and a slight chance of rain, but I do think most folks will be dry. And here is your pet walk, my friends.
Well, folks, we hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for joining us on News 3 Now.